How can we grow as Christians? God doesn't want us to stay like babies, always needing milk. It says in Corinthians that um, they were babies still. He wants us to grow up. But how can we grow up? We can't force it, naturally speaking, just to grow. Um, it's not something we can just be prayed for that we might grow up. It's a process. It's not automatic, but there's things we can do to help us grow. Just as a baby learns to eat solid food, learns to walk, and then gradually learns other things, so we can develop and grow. So there are no shortcuts. It's a process. Anyway, I want to just mention a few things. The first one is we need to develop our relationship with God, with Jesus. We need to talk to Him, trust Him, depend on Him, thank Him, just live each day with Him, conscious of Him, sharing our hearts with Him, everything that's going on in our hearts we can talk to Him about. Just make sure that we live close to God each day. And if we don't understand something, we can ask Him to show us our hearts when we feel maybe confused, and just depend on Him. We really need to base our lives on the Bible, because the Bible is the book of instructions that God's given us. It's His Word. Everything's in there that we need, and we need to read it diligently, not be lazy, especially what Jesus says in the Gospels and what the apostles teach in the letters. We don't have to worry so much about the Old Testament. But when we do read the Bible, we shouldn't just pick out a verse here and there, but we should read the whole passage around it, the before it and after it, know the context, know really what it's saying, compare it with other scriptures. If we don't really have much understanding, we can go and ask someone to help us, or we can look on the internet with a reliable source, not anybody. There's so many people out there that may be not helpful, but somebody reliable. It's also good to use a more updated version, or just compare versions, so we really get an idea of what God's will is through reading the Bible. We need to follow leaders who are upright, faithful, honest, sincere, humble. It talks a lot in the Bible about following people of faith, following their example, and it's very important that we have somebody ahead of us that's more mature than us, that we can look up to, respect, and follow their faith. It says about following the examples in Hebrews 11 too, those examples of faith. It's a great inspiration to us when there are people that we can really look to, their lives are exemplary. We always need to forgive others. If we don't forgive and we hold grudges in our hearts, we won't grow. Or if we have something in our heart against God because He hasn't answered prayer, or something's happened that's not been easy to cope with, if we have those kind of bitternesses, it will stop us growing. So we really need to deal with those things, either forgiving other people or dealing with it with the Lord if something is between us. It's very important. We need to keep away from sin. We need to keep ourselves pure. We shouldn't have idols, and we shouldn't really socialise too much with unbelievers, because it's going to corrupt our lives. They're a bad influence, and we really need to be surrounded by people of faith, people that love the Lord, in order to encourage us. And we need to also meet regularly with Christians, other Christians who love the Lord, who can help us or pray for us, support us, who we can talk to, who will stimulate us, who might challenge us sometimes to say something to us which we don't really like, if they see something in our lives that isn't right. But it's very good to have other Christians around that we relate to. Not just go to church, but actually be involved with other Christians. Often we just learn, or we grow just through life experiences, through trials, through persistence, through disappointments, through God's dealings with us slowly, sometimes through failure. We grow just through experience with God. We can't, as I said before, we can't force it. But if we're open and we want to grow, the Lord will provide ways we can grow just through our daily lives. We shouldn't make big decisions on our own. Again, it's a question of we should receive counsel from others. They can pray with us. It doesn't mean that we'll always take their counsel. We need to know for ourselves. We need God to speak to us. But he often uses other people and confirms his will through other people. If you're married, then you decide together. Sometimes the husband has to take the decision because he's the head of the couple. But usually it's something that the couple will talk about together, pray together, and reach a decision together. Hints, I hope they've been helpful and that you'll enjoy this video. Thank you.